Have you ever stared at a picture of the Great Pyramids of Giza and just wondered, how? How did a civilization thousands of years ago, without modern machinery, build something so massive, so precise, that it has stood the test of time for over 4.5 millennia? Today, we're repeeling back the layers of sand and stone to explore one of history's greatest engineering marvels. This isn't just a story about big rocks. It's a story of human ingenuity, organization, and a vision that reached for the heavens. Let's start by busting a common myth. For a long time, the popular image was of thousands of slaves being brutally forced to build these monuments. But modern archaeology tells a very different, and frankly more impressive story. Evidence from worker villages near the pyramids reveals that these were not slaves, but tens of thousands of skilled laborers. Think of them as a highly organized professional construction crew. These were likely farmers who, during the Nile's annual flood when their fields were underwater, came to work on the pharaoh's grand project. They were housed, fed high-quality food like meat and fish, and given proper medical care. This was a national project, a source of pride and a testament to their societal strength. Now let's talk about the sheer scale of the materials. The Great Pyramid of Khufu alone is made of an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks. The average block weighs about 2.5 tons, that's the weight of a large SUV, and that's just the average. Some of the granite blocks used deep inside the pyramid for the king's chamber weighed up to 80 tons. So, where did all this stone come from? Most of the core limestone was quarried right there on the Giza Plateau. Workers would use copper chisels and wooden mallets to carve out these massive blocks. For the harder granite, which came from Aswan, over 500 miles away, they used an even more painstaking method, pounding the rock with hard dolerite stones and using sand as an abrasive to slowly cut through it. Imagine the patience and dedication that required. Getting those millions of blocks to the construction site was a logistical masterpiece. The heavy granite from Aswan and the fine, white Tura limestone used for the outer casing were transported on enormous wooden barges down the Nile River. The builders cleverly used the annual flood to their advantage, as the rising waters brought the river and man-made canals closer to the pyramid site, significantly shortening the overland journey. The recent discovery of the Diary of Mirror, a logbook from an official involved in the construction, gives us a first-hand account of these boat journeys, confirming how these massive stones were shipped. Once on land, the blocks were loaded onto huge wooden sledges. A famous tomb painting depicts workers pouring water on the sand in front of a sledge. This wasn't just a random detail. Scientists have confirmed that wetting the sand in just the right way reduces friction by up to 50%, making it far easier for teams of men to drag these multi-ton blocks across the desert. Okay, so the blocks are at the base of the pyramid. Now for the multi-million-dollar question. How did they get them all the way to the top? This is where historians and engineers have the most debate, and there are several compelling theories. The most widely accepted idea is the use of ramps. But what kind of ramp? A single, massive, straight ramp would have had to be almost as voluminous as the pyramid itself, and would need to be extended for miles. Another idea is a spiral ramp that corkscrewed around the outside of the pyramid as it was built. This seems more practical, but it would have made surveying and maintaining the pyramid's perfect angles incredibly difficult. A more recent and fascinating theory, proposed by architect Jean-Pierre Houdin, suggests the Egyptians used an internal ramp. The idea is that an external ramp was used for the lower third of the pyramid, and then a hidden, internal spiral ramp was used to haul blocks up to the very top. This would explain the lack of evidence for a giant external ramp and is supported by some thermal imaging scans that show spiral anomalies inside the Great Pyramid. And just when we thought we had it figured out, a discovery at a quarry in Hatnab revealed a ramp with a very steep incline flanked by staircases and post holes. This suggests workers may have used a sophisticated system of ropes and pulleys, with teams on the stairs pulling the sledges up much steeper angles than previously thought possible. It's likely they used a combination of all these methods. But the wonder doesn't stop with just moving the blocks. The precision of the pyramids is, in some ways, even more staggering than their size. The base of the Great Pyramid is almost perfectly level to within just a couple of centimeters across its entire 13-acre footprint. How did they achieve this? One theory is that they dug a network of trenches, filled them with water, and marked the water level to create a perfectly flat reference plane. Then there's the alignment. The four sides of the Great Pyramid are aligned to the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west with an accuracy that is astonishing, even by today's standards. They likely achieved this by tracking the stars, demonstrating a profound understanding of astronomy. Finally, the mortar they used wasn't just simple mud. It was a complex chemical mixture of gypsum and sand that was cooked at high temperatures. This mortar wasn't primarily an adhesive. It acted as a lubricant to help them slide and position the massive stones perfectly, and as a leveling bed that allowed the structure to settle evenly under its own immense weight without cracking. So, when we look at the pyramids, we're not just looking at a tomb. We are looking at a masterclass in project management, mathematics, civil engineering, and astronomy. For nearly 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid was the tallest man-made structure on Earth. It's a monument built not by aliens or a lost civilization, but by ordinary people with extraordinary skill, organization, and a shared vision. Their legacy is not just etched in stone. It's a timeless reminder of what humanity is capable of achieving. It challenges us, inspires us, and proves that with ingenuity and perseverance, we can build wonders that last forever. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure into the mysteries of the ancient world. See you next time.